Hello everyone, Eddie here with Orbital Knives, and I want to talk to you guys about these 5 types of handle materials in the knife industry. This is not all of the materials. I don't want this video to last forever, but it is the 5 most popular right now in the knife industry, which is G10, micarta, aluminum, different types of carbon fiber, and titanium over here. There is also brass, copper, wood, FRN, etc. But I really want to focus on this because this is really where you're gonna be most of the time if you want to buy a knife. Also, we're not going to talk about how these materials are made. That's probably a video for another time. I mostly want to talk about how these materials respond to use. And depending on how you use them and how you want them to look down the line, that could affect your purchase. So I want to go through that real quick with you guys. First off, we have G10 here, and G10 is very cool because of all the materials in the table, it is the cheapest to work with. And it is also a material that is very easy to clean, and it can keep a really good appearance for a very, very long time. So this is a large Callisto prototype here, and you can tell in the blade that it's gotten used and abused. But if you look at that handle looks pretty pristine, looks just as it did when I first got this prototype. Even the hardware has gotten some markings there, but the material on the handle itself looks pretty good. Okay, this is JG10 right here. I have another one here. This is a W617C, if you want to look it up. It is from way back when we did things in G10 and D2. And this was about $100 when it first came out. I bought it about 7 years ago, and then I sold it to a collector in Hawaii. And last year I contacted him and bought this knife back from him. So this is exactly the same knife I bought 7 years ago. Now, there are some marks of use on this knife, even in that clip right there. That clip is made out of titanium, and you can see there are some weird lines there. But if you look at that G10, you can argue that those scales look new. And that's the cool thing about G10. Even though it's a cheaper material to work with, it really holds up beautifully over time. I have the 3 Callistos here, the 3 original Callistos, the one in the Damascus, and then these 2 in micarta. This is basically G10 that has been layered with a combination of 2 different colors. You have that red and black, and that is what produces that pattern, which is really quite beautiful in my opinion. Now, if I compare this, which is essentially G10, to this, even though these have been used for the same amount of time, you can see this is the only one that looks like new. This one, it looks pretty dirty here on this side because that's the way micarta behaves after used, especially as much as I've used the Callisto series. So in comparison, these two, you're not going to be that off in pricing between G10 and micarta, but that decision will depend on what you value the most. Do you want a knife that looks like new after you abuse it? If so, go with G10. At least the handle will look in good shape. I don't know about the blade or the hardware. It really depends on what you're doing with the knife. But if you would rather have a look of use, you would rather your tool to look like you have been using it, which is a preference for a lot of people, micarta is a great option. And as I said, this micarta here, you can see the color that it's gotten after getting used. I have here the same knife in blue. This one is sold out, but I do have one that's new here. And this is the color of the blue Callisto when you first get it. And this is the color it's gonna be after you use it. That's just what happens with micarta. Micarta will darken, and it will just, people like to say that it will get customized to you as you use it, which is, it's cool. I have another example here, which is the Clyde by Jan Mouse. Again, that micarta is super dark. It used to be more of a greener, clear micarta. If you look in this corner right here, that's what it used to look like when I first got it, and then it just got darkened as I used it. So that's micarta for you. Again, not a huge difference in price, maybe some, but not a lot. Mostly it's gonna be what you prefer down the line. Going over to aluminum. Now, aluminum is a material that I really like. It is quite beautiful and light still. It's still considered a light material in my opinion. But I do see that aluminum gets markings a lot. Now this is a prototype of the large Callisto, and I have tried to keep this one as good as possible for picture purposes. I have another prototype in aluminum that we have been using more, but this one is the one that I wanted to really keep in good shape. And even though I've tried, I've gotten some markings there. You can see it's spilled there, and I can't remember what the other markings were, but yeah, it just happens with aluminum, in my opinion. This is a knife right here. This is another giant mouse. This is the what is it called? This is the Iona in M390 and the aluminum handle, of course. And you can see how, even though I haven't used this knife much, and the reason I haven't used this one is because it's signed by Jen Sanso right there. But even though I haven't used it, you can see a bunch of trails in that handle. I don't know if you can see those trails in the handle. It's just kind of what happens with aluminum. I'm gonna close it real quick. You can see here markings there, markings there, markings there. And so yeah, it is still a material that if you are going to use it a lot, it's going to get those scratches and those trails going in the handle. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you like the metallic look of aluminum, but you don't want something that is that fragile, go with titanium. You still gotta be careful with titanium, but it's not gonna be as fragile as aluminum, in my opinion. We're not gonna get to titanium yet. We're gonna talk about carbon fiber first. Now, carbon fiber is a very popular material across many industries because it is light and it is also very, very strong. So like right here, it is a mini nightshade by Vostid. Vostid gifted me this knife in 2023 after Blade Show West. We went out to dinner together, and yeah, really cool team of people, and they gifted me this as a thank you. But yeah, you can see that that carbon fiber there. And the cool thing about this is there is no scales on the inside. So normally you have, like my Cara, for example, it needs to be reinforced with a liner. I said scale. Anyway, with a liner on the inside, so that way the knife is structural. It's not all flexy on you. This doesn't need that because it is very, very strong, and that makes this knife stupid light. If you can find a knife in carbon fiber that doesn't have any scales on the inside of the handle, definitely recommend it. It's just crazy how light those knives are. Now, carbon fiber can take different shapes and patterns and things like that. For example, this is a shred carbon fiber here. Essentially the same thing, but it's got that different pattern going on. Really cool in my opinion as well. And then of course it is fat carbon. If you don't know fat carbon, look into it. Crazy what they can do with different color combinations and things like that. Beautiful types of carbon fiber. Okay. Within carbon fibers, you have this also by fat carbon. This is carbon fiber combined with copper, which is super, super cool. So yeah. Now, I was talking about titanium. Titanium is my favorite handle material. If I had to pick my 3 favorite handle materials ever, I would say titanium, carbon fiber, and micarta. But titanium, even though people always talk about how titanium is light, how titanium is this and that, and it is crazy light for what it is still the heaviest material on the table. It is light compared to steel, but it is still a material that it's a metal. Okay, so essentially, so yeah. Now titanium can get scratched. It's not as noticeable as it is with aluminum, but I have this prototype right here, and I abused it a lot because it is a prototype, so it did get tested quite a bit. You can see the markings there, but it's whatever. It's a tool. It really depends on what you want to do. If you want to be able to abuse your knife and have it look good, go with G10. You know, that would be the recommendation. If you're not gonna abuse your knife and you want it to look fancy, this is gonna hold up better than aluminum. Aluminum will get scratched and it will get those trail marks no matter what, in my opinion. I haven't been able to ever use aluminum and have it look like new a year later. That's just my experience. Now, titanium can be customized quite a bit as well through anodization. You can get different colors like this one right here. This is a very cool piece. And then obviously we always see titanium being used with inlays as well. That is very common in the industry. This one, in this case, we have a wood inlay on this titanium body, which is really cool. And it's a combination that happens with all sorts of steels. Like even this right here is a mini chicane by Sherpa Design, carbon fiber inlay on a titanium construction. And this is something that can happen with any material. You can have G10 with a micarta inlay, whatever. This one right here is a Civivi, and this is a micarta and carbon fiber here on the bolster. So yeah, it's a combination that you don't see that often. So that's mainly the reason I got this knife when I first saw it. But anyway, that is really the rundown of the handle materials within pocket knives. Okay, so if you want the most economic and most durable in terms of looks, definitely go with G10. Micarta will reflect that use if you are into that. If you want your knives to look, again, scratch and to have that rustic look after use, aluminum can be an option too. If you're into fancy stuff, go with these options down here, carbon fiber and titanium. Hope you guys have a good one. 2 things real quick. If you like the content, please subscribe, leave a comment. It helps us a lot. And second, I'm gonna leave a link down below so that you guys can go in and join our forum for free. And we'll be talking knives, steels, handle materials, different types of pivot mechanisms, locking mechanisms, anything you want to talk about that is related to EDC, you can post it there. See ya.